Hello, everybody. You can see me. You can't see me. Whoa! I love this. Anyhow, how are you guys doing? I hope everyone is doing fantastic. We are selling our book. So here's the thing. For every purchase of our book, portions of the sales goes to the farmers in Madagascar, and we are trying to raise as much as possible so we can have each and every author or co-authors of our book Beyond Boundaries to have their own trees in their name with their certificate, and we can have a forest under Beyond Boundaries. So this is actually pretty amazing. I cannot wait for you guys to join us. Also, after I would say June 20, well, no, June 10th is when the book actually is out. And so by June 10th, when you purchase this book, you can pre-order it now at Barnes and Nobles and also here. But after, I would say, June 10th, you will be able to purchase our book. And then June 29th, we are going to be having our personal in person, right? In person book signing at Barnes and Noble. All right, guys, are you guys ready for today? So today we're gonna every Sunday, okay, we're here every Sunday at 7 p.m. So what we're going to do today is we're going to hear, because I often hear a lot about loneliness and social media, right? After COVID, I believe everyone really got into staying home, taking our time to get to know people. There's the rise of social media. And I did a little bit of digging and I did a little bit about research. And I actually wanted to show a little bit on what I have found so you guys can kind of go over that. Okay. So the topic for today is friendship and business equals influence, right? And I wanted to show this topic right here. It says the rise of loneliness through social media. It's a little bit of an overview. And I will be bringing my sisters from another misters and also my sister from another mother, right, tonight, because they are my business partner, but they're also my sisters and friends, right? So let's talk about that. Now, loneliness has become a significant concern in modern society today. And there's a lot of studies out there that have suggested a link between social media use and increase of feeling of loneliness, right? Despite this potential for social connection, social media and paradoxically contribute to social isolation. You're like, CJ, you're full of crap. What do you mean by that, right? Think about your own journey through social media. Some of us live alone, right? And when we were before COVID, we would go to coffee shops, maybe have a little bit more conversations. And it seems like within that 2 years, things have changed. Some people don't even get a hug, even 3 or 4 months from their friends because they're so far away. And we make friends through social media, whether you're on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube or, LinkedIn, right? So these are some stats of research that I have found. Study published by the American Journal of Health promotion found that adults who spend more than 2 hours per day on social media are twice as likely to feel socially isolated compared to those who spend half an hour or less per day on these platforms. Now, I'm going to tell you that I spend a lot of time on social media, but I also spend a lot of time with my friends. I shouldn't say a lot of time, but spend time with my friends. But I have my child, I have my husband at home, right? So the social media is high, but we're also having that interaction. But what about those people who lived alone, right? Now, in 2021, Cigna Loneliness Index reported that 61% of Americans feels lonely, with a significant increase observed during COVID-19, obviously the pandemic, and that social media use was cited as a contributing factor. Now, here's the age group teens and young adults, according to a 2020 report by Common Sense Media. 63% of teens said using social media makes them feel lonely sometimes. Older adults, we're talking 65 and more, basically a study of University of Pittsburgh found that older adults using social media frequently report higher levels of perceived isolation. Remember, perception becomes reality sometimes. There's perspective and, of course, perception, right? So the mechanism behind loneliness and social media, well, social comparison. Social media platforms often present curated, idealized version of our lives, being in a new car, being on lots of vacations, right? All of these activities, this can lead to unhealthy comparisons. And you're like, I don't compare myself. Your subconscious is, right? Where individuals feel their own lives are inadequate in comparison to the people that they see. So, according to a study by the Royal Society for Public Health, 70% of young people feel worse about their own lives after using social media, because sometimes they're not really, even though they're like don't compare, but they tend to compare. That's all they see is social media. FOMO, fear of missing out. Constant exposure to social events, activities where users are or participating can lead to FOMO, right? Like, imagine your friends always on TV, but you're not in there. Imagine your friends always invited to an audio rooms, but you're not in there. Imagine your friends always meeting each other in person, but you're not part of it, right? Now, a 2018 study published in the Journal of Social and Clinical Psychology found that FOMO significantly mediates the relationship between social media use and increased feelings of loneliness. Now, quality versus quantity of interaction. So, social media can increase the quantity of interaction, right? All the time, you're always there, right? But it often does not improve the quality. Superficial interactions may not provide the emotional support that in-person interactions can. The hug, when you meet someone on online, you're quick to like, I don't like her, bye, I don't want to talk to her. But if you meet every single time and you're like, CJ, what's wrong with you? You're not talking to me today. You need a hug, honey. So then they give you a hug, right? It's just that. Now, research published by the American Journal of Preventive Medicine show that individuals with more frequent social media interactions reported lower levels of perceived social support. So, what does that mean, CJ? Well, social media offers numerous benefits, guys. Let's not all be negative Nelly, okay? Such as connecting with friends, accessing information. It also poses significant risk for increasing feelings of loneliness. So, understanding the mechanism behind this paradox is very crucial for mitigating its negative effects and promoting healthier social media use. What does that mean? If you want to have friends on social media, fine, but don't forget that in person also is ideal, right? So, what are some stats? Relationship between hours spent on social media and loneliness. Hours per day on social media, if it's less than half an hour. Likelihood of feeling lonely, low, right? If it's more than 2 hours, it's pretty high. Frequency of loneliness after using social media. These are the statistics that I've got from all those journals. It literally says sometimes they feel lonely. The most that you see is often, right? And most of it is the younger teens all the way to their 20s, and then the older 65 and up. That is the often 40%. Social comparison is the contributes to loneliness, FOMO, and of course, superficial interactions, right? So you guys already know that loneliness, frequency lonely after social media, you see is still often at 40%. These are some of the reasons. Make sure you check them out. Social comparison, curated posts, unrealistic standards, okay? Feelings of inadequate, I'm not good enough. Oh my gosh, I need that, right? Loneliness, constant exposure to events, feeling left out, superficial interactions, high quantity and low quantity, lack of emotional support, and loneliness. So you're like, CJ, what the heck is the point? What is the point? The point is friendship, okay, and business are here today, right here with us. And what I really love about my sisters is that we actually met in person. All three of us have met in person. I'm going to bring them up so I can stop talking now. Here's my sister Susannah. Oh, my sister Danielle. Okay,
Hello.
sisters, our topic today is friendship in business equals influence, right? We influence each other's thoughts. We don't make each other's thoughts, we influence each other's thoughts. How do you feel about true friendships? Because we have found a lot of friends, quite honestly, on LinkedIn, right? And Danielle and I met in person, and I introduced you to Susannah, and now you guys are friends like we are friends. And that friendship also turns into business, and we influence each other to level up. So, Sister Susannah, tell me a little bit about how friendship and business influences you.
When I look at it, and I actually wrote about it briefly tonight after you posted, uh, because there's the friendship in business. It usually seems like they're impacting each other, but it's often more superficial. It doesn't really have the depth to it. Whereas, especially me being more of an introvert, it's better for me to have a deeper connection. I'm not the superficial type. I'm not the go along and just say what other people are saying because that's what the crowd is saying. It's like I need that deeper connection. And what I see it as, when you've got that deeper root, you've got that trust, you've got that connection, you've got that ability to talk with each other, and you feel comfortable to open up. It creates a foundation. All of that, the trust, the the trust, the that friendship, that deeper connection, it creates a stronger foundation as you're looking at what you're going to do in terms of business as well. And I view that as being the rebar in a concrete foundation, because the rebar makes concrete stronger. That deeper connection is it's like the it's a deeper connection. That's the rebar. When it's superficial, it's more of a wire mesh, which means yeah, it's there, but it can still break easily.
I really love that you actually put that in because I'm a visual person, so I like to see like how you would put it down. And you're right. You actually are the type of person that takes her time to get to know somebody before you jump, right?
Mhm.
Because of your past history. And we talked about it extensively today. And
Oh
and
yeah.
all of us actually do that. We base our reactions, interactions, decisions, influences based on our past history. The
Hmm.
problem, the good thing and the bad thing, because we learn our lessons. However, we also technically, generally speaking, at least for me, I can't speak for both of you, we tend to like, I don't want to do this anymore because I have been hurt in the past, right? And so I have to like back up a little bit and I'm like, okay, well, which one is it? So then I'm like, okay, stop being confused, CJ. So now I used to, because I'm also a people pleaser, I quickly usually jump in. But now it's like, I value my time and I value my energy. I have supported so many people, not just on LinkedIn, but my students. And it feels like a waste of time. That's how I felt this last week because certain individuals will look at your support as nothing but just right?
Right.
What you don't understand is that that support takes time and money from that person that you just used, user, okay? And so you can't take that back. You can't buy that time back. So when people give you support, yes, it's you, the individual who's doing the work, but without the support, you are nothing. because you wouldn't know what you know without those support systems. That's why when you have a family, kids sometimes are not taught how to feel, so they get that feeling from their friends. Kids sometimes don't have the support, the love, the nurture at home, so they lash out outside, right? That's how important support is, right?
Mhm.
It's so important in friendship. So, Sister Danielle, what are your thoughts on friendship and business and influence?
I think that friendship and a friendship like ours, more of a sisterhood, is essential to business. It's like when you're having a great day, it's that the people that you can call and say, "Hey, I had a great day. Like, let's celebrate this together." And they could be little wins, like I got a connection, or I had a good meeting, or it could be something bad, and it's a reminder of who you are and to people that see and value you. And I think that's why, even though we do have a lot of friends and acquaintances on LinkedIn, our bond is different because we don't hold it back. We're like, oh, that doesn't sound right. Um, Watch out for this, or hey, this person is great. Look into that person. And so it's kind of essential to the way that you move. I think I've said this before, but I look at my friendships, like mine with yours, as my board, right? Those are the people that are going to keep you honest in the times that you need to hear it. So for me, it is essential to my business functions and what I do, and a reminder of what I'm capable of and what is still to come. So,
And I love that. Hello, Sister Sindel, and of course, Brother Mike from the Hounds of Business. I am actually going to take this moment to highlight Hounds of Business community.
Growing our business by farming and fishing, man, not hunting. That's what we're all about. How do we do it? We practice the Hound Pack principle, man. Kindergarten skills, sharing the crayons, this collaborative power of publicity, reciprocity. It's about nurturing those relationships that foster know, like, and trust, man. Very profitable, too. We're the Hounds of Business, right? You know that. Not the Hounds of just kumbaya and playing. We get things done here, but we do so in a win-win-win fashion. You go to YouTube, Hounds of Business, LinkedIn, Hounds of Business YouTube, or you can go to my personal website, redneckfinancialcoach.com. Publicity hub. We love promoting people, getting great messages like it's out there. And just anything that you need to get unstuck and move that needle, guys. Scan that QR code, check out the page. We need more people like this yesterday. We can make a huge impact in the world together.
He's like, I love it, bro. I'm not making fun of you. No, I'm not. Not at all. I actually wanted to also talk about a couple of things on etiquette. We have to, and tell me your opinion on this, on pitch slapping your business in the middle of a post. Okay. A, that's a way to get you blocked. B, that's a way to actually not get business. And C, you lost a lot of opportunities, right? So for the people who are pitch lapping, or you're like, what is a pitch lap? Okay. So you have a business, you do YouTube whatevers, you do Instagram whatevers, and we post an activity. You're like, you did a bad job, this Dr. Leland. I can help you. First of all, that's not the way to go in. You don't just tell people that they do a bad job when they don't even know who the hell you are, and then pitch slap them with your business. No one wants to deal with you. You're already at the negative energy. So the way to go about it is make friends. Hey, I heard this. Please read the profile. Please read the profile. Please read the profile. Even just a tagline. If you don't want to read the profile, just tagline, right? It really makes a big difference when you do business with someone. Getting to know them. You can't provide a solution to a problem you don't know. Here's another thing. 2 words: perception, perspective. I've been on that journey for a little bit. Perception is your reality. It's what you think people says. Oh, I'm not good enough. Oh, I'm this. Oh, people think I'm this. In reality, external perspective, real life, they don't really think of that. But because we tend to be negative and pessimistic about ourselves, based on our past experiences, We perceive ourselves as less than, when in reality, you really are not. You might not be 100%, but you're rating yourself at 20% when you're technically at 60. I'm just saying, right? So don't provide solution that you don't even know what that is the problem. Maybe it is a problem, but if they don't have a budget, and then when they have a budget later on, they're not going to call you because you already are in negative energy, right? So what are you guys' thoughts on pitch slapping? I love pitch slap, by the way, at the right time. Just not like that. Sister Susanna?
There's there's the right times and the wrong times, and quite frankly, that initial, I'm sure there are some people that they love to go through pitch slaps, and that's fine. But for me, again, it goes right down to that getting to know somebody before they start pitch slapping. Because a pitch slap is that trying to get you to buy something right now. It's an immediate thing. It's not even a this is what I do, and it's like there can be a soft pitch slap in that as you're getting to know each other and learn what each other is focusing on. Then there's going to be kind of a natural bit in there because you want to let them know what you're doing and maybe something that's going on. But the pitch slap, oftentimes, it doesn't even give you a chance to get to know each other. It's like you're connected, or they just DM you out of the blue and pitch slap, and it's like, here's what I'm doing, and especially the ones that go, I'm looking at your stuff, and it's like, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. I can make it better. Well, it's already turned me off. Why do I want to talk to somebody who doesn't feel positive in any way, shape, or form, and I have no understanding of how good they might really be?
Sister Danielle, thoughts?
Yeah, honestly, I pitch slapping just makes me itchy in general. And yeah, for me, I think just really important. Don't tell me about what you do. Tell me about who you are. To me, that's more important in building sustainable relationships over time. So, for me, um, I need to know who you are before we have a relationship or we do business. That's the most important for me. And like what Susannah says, the foundation is everything. Without that, yeah, I'm not going to make a call.
Yeah. So, okay. So, first of all, I'm only human. I swear, guys, I'm not robot. Okay. So, I do get hurt. My feelings do get hurt. I did. I'm asking my sisters today to write a letter to their enemy, frenemy, whatever. So, I'm writing a letter to my frenemy. Are you guys ready to listen? Are you interested?
I'm
Okay.
ready.
So, dear frenemy, I hope this letter finds you in good health, despite our differences. It's not often that one takes the time to address someone with whom they have conflicts. But today, I felt it was necessary. Our animosity has shaped parts of our lives, creating barriers and fostering negative emotions. However, I've come to realize that holding onto anger and resentment only fuels the divide between us. Instead, I'd like to take this opportunity to express my thoughts and perhaps some closure. Life is too short to be consumed by hatred and jealousy. While we may never see eye to eye, I believe in the possibility of understanding and mutual respect. We don't have to be friends, but we can choose to coexist peacefully. Our energy is better spent on building bridges rather than walls. That said, Don't be petty, because you can't be me. I am who I am, and you are who you are. Our differences are what makes us unique, and there's no need to try to overshadow one another. I wish you all the best in your endeavors. May you find happiness and success just as I strive for the same in my own life. Sincerely, Dr. Leland. How about you, sisters? What are your thoughts on my letter?
Woo! That was heavy. I respect that though.
Wow.
Takes a lot of courage.
No words. You're like, well, that's how I felt. How about you, Susannah?
I'm sitting here listening to it going, there's no way I could write anything like that, because you captured everything. You hit all the points. You hit the key points. It's like you're staying as positive you can through the whole thing. You're wishing them well, because whoever it is, and quite frankly, context is everything to me. So it's harder for me to try and figure out what I would write without a specific context. Yet things that you are, it's like you want a positive opening. You want to make sure that you're saying everything in a positive light. You want to keep it as animosity free as possible, and definitely closing it with well wishing and that understanding that there may be a divide in what they're thinking and what I'm thinking, totally different. That's okay, because each of us is totally different. I mean, that no two people, just like no two fingerprints, no two eye prints, all this stuff, nobody is the same. And it's better to accept that and say it was great if we were friends and it went the wrong way. It's fine if we kind of had friction from the very beginning. I wish you well, and just accept that the differences are going to be that way, and that's okay.
Okay, your turn. What's your frenemy letter?
But that was basically it.
Wow. Okay.
because I really no, it's like I said, a lot of it depends on that context. What I would want to talk about, it's like, what is causing the friction, and that's what you want to be able to address in as positive a light as possible. If it's because that frenemy could be somebody that's in another company, somebody that's in your own company, and you're just not getting along.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, yes, we're in the same company. You want to do things this way. I think it's better doing it that way. And I can tell if we are forced to do it a way that just doesn't align with who we are, we're not going to get along. And that's fine. It's like you walk your path, I'll walk mine. If we got to be in the same room together, let's be cordial. If otherwise,
Right?
if we, yeah, it's like that mutual respect. If we're in the same space, we've got to be cordial, even if one or both of us hates the other. I mean, if it goes that far, you have a choice. You either be cordial, or one or both go find someplace else to go work. And because it doesn't work to let all that stuff hang over us, all that stuff just burn us. I want to see workplaces where belonging fits.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm not feeling that belonging, that's when the walls go up. And you talked about that. You don't want the walls. You want to be able to engage with people.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't engage, you got to understand where those differences are. And it's going to be different. It's going to be perception. It's going to be how somebody does something. It's going to be their view of what's going on. And it's going to be, is it somebody above you, somebody below you, somebody at the same line as you? So, I mean, I go deep into the weeds. It's like I take the big picture, but I need to know the context of where to write, but the basics are there. We've already
That's
hit the
one thing I
basics.
love about that, because context is everything, and a lot of people um, take sides based on what they hear from people, and they should know, and you guys should know, that there's two sides to a story. It's always the A and B, right? You
Mhm.
can't flip a chapter in your book without flipping the other side. Literally, you can't flip pages, right? It's like life. You can't move on if you don't flip pages. It's like you're never going to be best friends with everybody, and that's okay, right? There's always that differences. But to be petty and hang on to whatever is really not necessary, right? It's really not necessary. You need to move on and find a hobby rather than hobby be like, literally at this point you're a fan. Thank you. Like, thank you for talking about me, because now you're a fan. Publicity is publicity. That's like Kardashians, right? Negative everything, and they're still in the limelight. What is there? There's nothing there about it, but they're in the limelight. So thank you. But at the same time, I really don't care for it, right? It's because this is just negative energy. I do want Miguel. I need business friends, bro. We are your business friend. You just DM us and we'll get you in, right? You're already in the hounds of business. Now, Sister Danielle, do you have a letter to your frenemy?
I do. Actually, I was writing it here. So let me adjust my seat. And pardon me as I sip my tea. All right. To those who I loved without boundaries and pass, the love I gave with no bounds. And that love came first. I chose this love over opportunities, scholarships, volunteer work, friendships, and at times my loved ones and my faith. When this love went against my core of loyalty and my faith, I finally stood up for myself and what I stood for and stand for today. I've never seen my life without my faith, and when I was asked to choose, God is that one being I could not live without. And when you ask me to choose between my faith and you, I beg you not to make me choose. But thank you, because it deepened my faith and devotion to honor my family. My message to you is that I forgive you for making me feel small and unwanted and ugly, something that I still struggle with to this day. I want to thank you for letting me go so that I could find the strength in my voice and the path to my dreams, and more importantly, my husband, my love, and my best friend, who loves me unconditionally, supports me without bounds, and reminds me who I am. So, this message to you is that there was no love lost on my side, instead, a boundary to put myself first and my faith. So, I leave this with you, that I hope that when you find love, that this message will find you well, and that I forgive you and still love you. Peace.
Peace. I love that. Um, it's nice sometimes, right? Writing, it gives us the outlet to heal, because we're literally venting on a piece of paper, whether we write it for real and publish, or we just write it for the sake of our mental capacity and health, right? Because this is a mental month, wellness. I truly believe that even though we're so aware that negativity and all of these things that we hash out all the time comes up, is part of not being able to let go because there's something in there, you felt bad, or you just want to hang on to things, and that's normal. But I wanted to also talk about how business sometimes cannot mix with friendship, right? People will always say, hey, business and personal does not go hand in hand. That's like oil and water, right? I think you can if you have true communication, and you have to set up boundaries, right? You have to really set boundaries at the beginning of that business friendship. And I'm going to talk about Susannah and I's business, and she can speak for herself. But I know that I'm big in communication, right? When I make a decision, sometimes I'm like, oops, I speak for both of us. I'm so aware of that. And I said, but give me the chance to explain myself of why I did that. And I apologize. I will not do that in the future. However, I feel the need to step up because of this, and this, right? And when you do that in business and friendship, at least in my perception, Susannah gets me because she knows that I have good reason to do it. And even if sometimes I might step my boundaries because it should be 50-50, and sometimes I bite 5% more than I should. And I'm like, sister, I made a decision for both of us because of this. And she's like, huh? I'm like, okay, let me repeat myself. I went too fast. Anyway, I did this because of this. She's like, oh, that makes sense. And that's why we get along, because she trusts my judgment, because she trusts that I will not lie to her, bite her hand, or use her and her time. And the way to only do that is to constantly show, right? By actions, not by talking. A lot of people are like, I can be heart centered. Literally, there's so many wolves in sheep's clothing on LinkedIn. All of you all out there who are users, I see you. And if you don't think the support system is so important, wait till you don't have any more and see where you're going to go with that, right? And so I believe in karma, guys. I will not screw you in anything because I'm scared of karma. If karma comes after me, I will die. So I will not do that. I've been raised to be nice to people, even when sometimes they're not nice to me, and I hold my tongue. But don't mistake that for being weak because I'm watching you. And when I blow up, I will not relent. But I am keeping myself composed. But you're literally at 80% of my threshold right now. I'm just saying. 80% of my threshold. Until the CJ that not so nice comes out, it's gonna be there. But right now, I'm like, okay, maybe people are going through their things. Support system is so important. When people give you the time to support you, be thankful. Don't be an ingrate. When people give you the time of the day when they can be doing something else, be grateful. Don't be an ingrate. When someone gives you, hey, emoji, be grateful because maybe that's the only time that they can give you. And I wanted to do a shout out to Crystal today. Sister, you did a great job, and I'm so glad I could support you in your first show because it's important to support each other. That's what we have that created in our support system on our LinkedIn is that we support each other when we need to and necessary. I supported her show on my phone while I was trying to go to the birdhouse today. Yeah, Cuckoo's Nest. Yes, that's where I was. Cuckoo's Nest. Pun everywhere. But anyway, I was literally trying to support her with my earpods. I'm talking to my husband here, and I'm in my earpods and talking. He's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Nothing." Yeah, continue. What was the bird again? Oh wow, Honduras. Perfect. ADHD moment of my life, and my husband's like, "Are you doing ADHD thing again?" I'm like, "Yup." And Crystal's like, yeah, what's that third question? I'm like, oh, that's my cue. Third question. Like literally because I was driving, my husband was talking and I was doing this thing and it was crazy. But that's one thing that we do is we support each other, right? Now, Sister Danielle, I'm going to go to you. How do you feel about influence when it comes to people, right? Like sometimes you ask me like, CJ, what do you think about this person, right? And then you ask maybe some other random person, some other random friends who might know that same person and say, hey, what do you think about this person? How do you weigh in which person influences your ability to make decisions?
I look at it as more of a context thing. And so when I ask, hey, how do you feel about this person? it might be something that I'm contemplating already. So to me, I use that an influence to ask to either tell me that my intuition is right and what I'm feeling, or it might be discernment where to, I guess, put that person, good, bad, or indifferent. That makes sense.
Susanna?
It's when it comes to asking about somebody, or even just answering the question from somebody else, there's the observations, and then there's also the willingness to say, I just have this gut feeling. I can't tell you specifically why. So depending on who I'm getting information from, it's also going to be taken, I'm not going to say with a grain of salt, but with a grain of trust. It depends on how much I trust them as to the weight of their words about somebody. So if it's somebody that I know, but I don't, it's not really that close of a connection, then I'm just being wary about what I'm hearing. It's it's happened in many ways of just, what do you think about, what do you see, what are your thoughts, and then listening to what the answers are, or if I'm giving the advice, the thoughts, just trying to give what I see, trying to be as straightforward without any kind of a taint or bias, or if so, then at least trying to acknowledge that up front too. It's like, I'm not sure about this, but I kind of feel this, and if I have any kind of a, if I feel like there's something that might be tainting how I view somebody, then that I will go to somebody that I absolutely trust to say, this is what I think. I want to make sure that I'm not trying to skew how others might see this person.
Yeah. And I wanted to say hello. Mike is here. He's like, you're busy trying to play with him. I was playing with my bird. Well, my bird was busy biting my husband, and this bird is gonna be in my house, biting literally. Like, and he's white, so his skin is a little thicker than mine. I said, if that bird bite me, I'm gonna be bleeding. I'm gonna bite back with that bird. Let me tell you something. So, but it has colorful words already. The bird has attitude, major attitude Judy today. The bird's like, hello, F you. I was like, oh wow, okay. And my husband's like, yeah, I'm buying that bird. Totally fit in my household. And I was like, and he goes, is this totally like a girl bird or a boy bird? And the ladies are like, no, we don't have a DNA, but I think she's like a girl bird because she does have attitude and a little sass. And my husband's like, oh, she'll fit right in. And she looked at me. I'm like, it's not my bird, it's your bird. But if that might becomes my bird, don't be hateful that it's gonna curse a lot. And I'm gonna teach it to curse in different languages. It's gonna be funny. I'm gonna be asking Ollie, how do you say this in French? Because I'm teaching this bird in French. And one of these days, I'm gonna put this bird in here. I'm hoping YouTube would not cancel me because that bird is gonna be colorful, literally colorful. Okay, not just by words, but it's a, I think it's called a scarlet macaw. It's like a Honduran's birds. Um, but he has major attitude. I'm just telling you right now. I'm just telling you. Now, I can't believe that we're already ending, sisters. I really love this conversation. Despite the friendship and business and influence, because we do influence each other's thoughts, right, on who we can deal business with, who we can continue relationships with, it's really important, guys, to communicate, right? Mike would definitely tell you, like, communicate. But here's one thing that I actually want to tell you, okay? Some people, when they deal with, I call it heebie jeebies, When I'm on my moment, like if I'm having a moment, right? Um, that's what I call a moment when I'm angry, sad, despair, whatever, happy. When I'm in my moment, I really become an introvert. I do not want to deal with nobody, not even my family. My daughter's like, Mom, I'm like, don't talk to me. When I say that, my daughter makes me breakfast or does something nice for me to calm me down, literally, or make me coffee. Like she knows how to make me coffee. Bella's amazing. And because I'm in my moment, right? And so, like, if you're the type of person that, like my husband, when I'm in my moment, he literally drives me nuts. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? I'm like, I'm gonna throw these slippers to tell you to go away. If I'm telling you to go away, please go away. And it took us, well, I don't know, 15 years for him to get that. I've been married 21. 15 years. So they're like, oh, she has her moment. I'm going to just go. I'm like, yep. And he knows after my moment, I go shopping. So he takes the credit card away from my hand and just hands me the debit card because there's certain budgets in that debit card. When I'm in my moment, I go shopping because that makes me feel good. Okay? At least it's not gambling. It's not any other things. Um, just little things like skincare or whatever, right? So I think for friendship, it's also important to know that way of communication. And I literally tell them, sisters, I'm going to go dark today because I'm in my moment. And they understand that. So if they needed support and I'm not supporting them because I'm in my moment, right? So my suggestion is really get to know your people on when they are in their moment to give them time to breathe and just let them be, right? And I'm the type of person that if I have a beef with you and I care enough about you, I will let you know. I will not gossip to people here and there. I hate this A, B, C, and D because of it. I don't do petty shit like that. Oh, did I just say that? I did. Sorry, YouTube. I don't do petty stuff like that. I literally will tell you. How about you, Sister Danielle?
Yeah, I think I'm similar. So if I am like super upset about something, I need time to process, and that means space. Even my kids know. I will say, "Mommy needs space alone," and then I go get French fries. That's my comfort food, and or hot Cheetos. And so, yeah, no, I need time to process when I'm upset to make sure that when I make a decision, if it's about a relationship or a business choice, I'm going to make it with discernment and objectively. I mean, I can't do that when I'm in my feelings. So I do like Target in those moments. And so I try to stay away from the Target when I feel like that. Yeah,
How
definitely.
about you, Sister Susanna? What is your vices here?
Oh, I could. Well, yeah. There is Amazon, and it depends on the shopping aspect because I want that for me when. But you guys know too, if I go dark, that means something's really up. Um, and it's like sometimes that's when I really need you, but you can't get a hold of me because I've gone dark. Uh, but when I'm processing, the difference between us on this is I'm the only one here. So I don't have the only person that I could be wanting to try and get away from is me, and that's kind of hard to do.
It is.
Showing the picture. So
Yes.
yeah, so it's for me it's just working through things as best I can and go from there.
Yeah. And when I feel you too, which is funny because our friendship, although shorter than most of my friendships, I have best friends since I was 5. I can feel your vibe, right? When you're low, and I just like, okay, go ahead, vomit on me. I want to know what's happening. What's the tea in your life? And it feels better. Sister, the name of this bird is Candy, but we're gonna make sure that it's actually a she. So we're gonna get her DNA tested next week, and we're not gonna find out until about 3 weeks from now. So make sure that we name them appropriately. But um, Candy sounds like Something that rhymes with striper name, and I'm not going to keep that name. So I told my husband, I'm like, nope. Have you tried straight corn Cheetos? Ooh, there you go, Sister Danielle. Right?
Oh,
Pretty bird.
that
I
sounds
know.
good.
Yeah, so we're not naming her Candy. I don't know yet. I don't know what we're gonna name her, but help me, guys, name her. So to end today's friendship and business influence, one advice for me is communication, right? Um, Communicate with your people and respect boundaries. Wait, that's two things. Anyway, ADHD moments. Respect boundaries and communication. What about you, Sister Danielle?
I was going to say boundaries too, because I was going to say two things, but I'll go with forgiveness. Forgiveness.
Sister Susannah.
Yeah, I mean, you guys already have it. I think probably one of the biggest things for me is the trust. If you've got the communication and you've got the boundaries, you still have to have that deeper level of trust, especially for a genuine friendship and business.
True. True. We must end. Next week is the lecture of something. Oh, if you have a book, guys, let me know. I will put them next week, May 26th. And I will have both of the sisters back again because we're going to talk about Beyond Boundaries. I'm just saying, what did I say that? I don't know. Anyway, love you guys. I will see you next week. Say bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. See ya. Don't